the Department of Corrections that have joined us here tonight. Thank you so much for being here. Can we give them a big, gigantic round of applause? We also want to give a big shout out to everybody over at Unit 2J in the Clark County Detention Center, the City of Las Vegas Detention Center, everyone who is joining us on the Hope for Prisoners Facebook Live page from around the world, and those who have logged in on Zoom. Hey, in the Hope for Prisoners fashion, before we get going, we want to turn it over to any kind of testimonies, something that has happened in your life. You just got a job, just completed some vocational training, something that God has done in your life. We want to give you an opportunity to give a little popcorn testimony. Go once. And if you're in Casa Grande, please slip your hand up, and Darby will direct you to the camera. And if you're watching Facebook Live, make sure you slip your hand up, and Chad is monitoring the chat. Did you have something? Well, why don't you come on up? Come on up. Give her a hand. Come on up. And what I want you to do is look right over there in the camera. Tell everybody your name and what is that testimony you'd like to share with us.
So my name is Sarai Solis, and my testimony today is I got a job at Papa Lock, and I moved into the Kensington Suites today, and I'm just very grateful for the program and just for sticking it out and just staying positive, and for you, Jon Ponder, because you made this all possible with the help of everybody that works. Well,
that's outstanding. Give me a high five. So full-time employed and secured housing. Man, so very, very proud of you. So we're going to go over to Nevada Department of Corrections. If you please step up, tell us your name and what is that thing that you'd like to share with us tonight to encourage us.
My name is Frankie, not Francis.
Okay, Frankie.
Yesterday I took a school, and I'll be starting October 30th.
Say that one more time. Wait, hold on, Frankie. The internet was cutting out. Can you start all over again?
Yesterday, I went and took a tour at the welding school, and I did. So I'm going to be starting on the 30th.
Oh, that is outstanding. Give her a gigantic hand. Give her a round of applause. And Mrs. Yoakum, Miss Yoakum, I'm sorry to put you on the spot, but Francis, stay right there for a second, because she's going to tell you something directly to you. Would you just come right up here? And I want you to look over in the camera right now, because Frankie, who's inside Casa Grande, she is going to be starting welding school on Monday. Can you tell her when you graduated welding school?
September 1st.
So you graduated with welding school on September 1st. And where did you just start employment, and what are you doing, and how much did they start you at?
I just started at Helix Electric as a welder, and I'm making $24 an hour.
Right out of school. Right out of school. Thank you. Thank you so very, very much. Anybody else in the room? Casa Grande. Before we get things underway, we're going to go back over to Nevada Department of Corrections, Casa Grande Transitional Facility. Step up, tell us your name, and what is that you'd like to share?
How you doing, everybody? My name is Jakub, and I graduated the Las Vegas Welding Institute on the 30th.
Woo! Good man. Ain't that so awesome? Good deal. I always get excited when I hear people to take advantage of the vocational training opportunities, that they can get to a place where they're earning sustainable wages and not working, washing dishes or anything like that. That's changing the face of reentry. So anybody else going once, going twice, because we're ready to get everything underway. Before we do, I'm just going to open up in prayer before I introduce you our speaker. So if you guys can bow your head and please pray with me. Father, we just come before you this evening in the name of Jesus. God, we thank you for being the magnificent, wonderful, incredible, awesome God that you are. We thank you for waking us up this morning with you on our mind and you in our heart, God, and just giving us another breath of life to live for you. Father, we invite you into the midst of this huddle up and ask you to just huddle up with us, Father. We ask you to anoint the lips of our speaker, illuminate every gift, talent, and ability and testimony that you have worked in her. Somewhere between her lips and the ears of the hearer, let your anointing rest on every word, so that as they are received in the ears of the hearer, God, they'll be received for the intended purpose for which you sent it. We love you, we worship you, we pray this prayer in the matchless name of your Son, Jesus Christ, in Jesus' name, and say amen. Now, I want everybody to look to the person next to you and say in your best Lou Rose voice, say, get ready. Get ready. No, a little bit better than that. Get ready. Get ready. Say this is gonna be good. Man, we're so very honored to have the awesome, amazing Commissioner Bailey joining us tonight. So Lamesia Bailey was appointed as a parole board commissioner by Governor Steve Sisolak in October 2010. Prior to her appointment, she was employed as a correctional caseworker with the Nevada Department of Corrections. Bailey has also been employed as a reentry specialist with the Division of Parole and Probation. Commissioner Bailey served in the United States Air Force for over 20 years. Everybody say, thank you for your service. Where she last served as Director of Human Resources for Nellis Air Force Base after serving as a law enforcement officer. Commissioner Bailey holds a bachelor's degree in applied science with a minor in business management from Campbell University. She also holds a master's of art in human relations from the University of Oklahoma. Commissioner Bailey has resided in the state of Nevada since 2012. If you guys are please put your hands together and give a big, gigantic, warm, Hope for Prisoners welcome to Commissioner Bailey.
Thank you so very, very much. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Can y'all hear me? Okay, good. I want to make a correction. So I was not appointed as a commissioner until 2020. It said 2010, but it's 2020. I was still in the Air Force back in 2010. So I just wanted to make that correction. So good evening, everyone. I'm Lamesia Bailey, and I'll be talking to you tonight. Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Ponder, for inviting me to speak today. So Mr. Ponder emailed me on Monday and said, hey, do you happen to have the time to come over and speak at our huddle? And I think before I read that email, I was like, absolutely, I'll be there. Immediately, I already knew that I was going to be doing this. So I want to thank you again for inviting me. And I also want to thank the graduates, the clients of Hope for Prisoners. You guys rock. Congratulations on your job. Congratulations on your job. Casa Grande, congratulations. I was so happy to come and speak to y'all today that I invited my family too. So my family is in the back. Say hello, everybody. And they are happy to be here for you as well. So I just wanted to let you guys know that. So my task today was to come here and speak encouraging words and share my leadership successes and what I've done in my life and things like that. But I'll do that, okay? But what I'd like to do is I'll answer any questions about my career, how I got to this point in my career, and share any adversity I faced along the way. You can ask anything, okay? But in my heart, however, I want to talk about something else. I don't want to talk about me. I want to talk about you, okay? Everyone in here has experienced some form of adversity in their lives. Everyone in here has a story, in Casa Grande and in DOC as well. I bet if we had the time to listen to everyone's story, we will all be amazed as to how much we came through. You all made a conscious effort to be here in this program, and I appreciate it. What I like to say next is, I like to take this time to express my gratitude for your progress and the ability to overcome your difficulties in life. There are certain qualities that you all possess and you might not even know it, okay? I'm going to speak a little bit about those qualities today. The first quality is courage. You all are courageous, okay? It takes courage to walk through these doors and start the process of change. It takes courage to put aside old habits and create new ones. You woke up one day and you said, I want more. You walked into this building and began the process of creating a better life for you and your families. That takes courage. I salute you for that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to stop there for a second and I'm going to talk to you about something that has happened to me to where I did not have courage, okay? I did not. And you heard I was in the military for a certain amount of years, 21 years. And a short time in that career, I was a staff sergeant at Pope Air Force Base. And I had applied for a job. It was a very elite unit. It's called the 24th Special Taxi Squadron. Y'all can look it up. Very elite. You had to be the best of the best to get into that unit, right? So I applied, I got in, and everything's great, right? This is an all-male unit, all right? In order to be in this unit, you had to be a male. These are war fighters. They kill people for a living, okay? That was their job. And you ask, well, how did you get into that unit? I'm a female, right? Well, every unit like that has a support team. So I was a part of that support team. So I get the job, I'm feeling great. You know, the best of the best is in that unit. The best from every career field. So if you're a medic, you're the best. If you're HR, which I was, you're the best. Everybody was the best at what they did in that unit. Because you had to be in order to support the warfighter. Anybody military in here? You guys know what I'm talking about, right? So I get to the unit. I've been there about 3 weeks. I'm starting to learn everyone. I kind of know everybody. I work in the commander support staff, which is for the commander. I work directly for him. And one day, someone walks in. His name is Tim Tennant. And in this unit, you don't go by your name. You go by ops initials because that's what they call each other in the field. You can't say, hey, Tim. You just got something short and sweet. TT, who was his name. I was LB, Lamisha Bailey. So he walks in and he goes, hey, LB, you're going to tandem with me on Wednesday. Go see JB, Jason Bender, and get your gear. And I'll see you at 8:30 on Wednesday. I said, okay, I didn't want to look stupid. So I was like, all right, I got it, no problem. So the support person that was in the office with me, I said, what does that mean? What does he mean that I'm going to tandem with him? He said, you're going to go skydiving. You're going to jump out of a plane. And I said, you know what? I'm not elite. I'm mediocre at best. Send me back to the base. I don't want to be here. I'm not doing this ever. So send me back. I'm not that great, okay? So they were like, no, don't worry about it. You'll be fine. Commander's like, don't worry about it, girl. You'll be fine. And let me tell you something. I'm not racist at all, okay? 97% of this unit are white men, okay? They crazy. They were crazy, all right? They jump out of planes. They come to work out so they can kill the enemy. This is who I'm talking, this is who I'm dealing with, okay? So I said, no problem. I got this. I could do it. So I go see JB, Jason Bender. He is the one that gives me my gear. He is also the one that packs the parachutes, okay? He packs the parachutes. So he's like, LB, don't worry about it. You'll be fine. And I'm thinking to myself, this is what I had to tell myself in order to get it together. I said, you know what? These guys are risking their lives every day for people like me and people like you. I can do this for them. I can help them out, right? So I did. I don't know what happened in the last 2 days, the 2 days before that Monday night, that Tuesday. I don't even know if I took care of my kids. I don't know if they ate. I have no idea what happened to them. But I was terrified, all right? And the whole time I'm thinking, do I really have to do this? Do I really have to do this? I had no courage. I was scared. I was fearful. I thought I was going to die, right? So Wednesday comes, and we muster up at 8:30, and he's doing the briefing. Now, these are guys, the guy TT, he's a tandem master. He's a jump master. He is the best at what he does. He has the best record, the most jumps and everything. So I'm starting to feel okay about it because he's the best and I'm on his back when we jump out, right? So he does the briefing and everybody's good. All these white men in here. I'm the only little black girl over here. And I'm like, they tried to kill me. I know they tried to kill me. Lord, help me. Service before self, right? So we walk to the airplane. The airplane has no door. You just walk right into the airplane, okay? So I walk in, everybody's in there. It's like a movie. You ever seen a movie, a military movie? They're in the plane. Everybody's eyes are closed, their gear's on. And I'm looking at all of them like, y'all not scared? Like, what is going on here? I'm the only one scared. So we get to 10,000 feet. We're there. We got to jump out, right? So the first set of people, the other support people were fine. They were happy. They were like, yes, let's do this. This is for fun for them. So they're jumping out. The first team goes out. They're good. Now there's a ringleader. I don't know what his name was or what his title was, but his name was Trey Free. I don't remember his ops initials. But he's directing everybody. He's like, hey, you guys jump out. Then the next group come in, y'all jump out. Then it's me and Tim Tennant, TT. So I get out there. I'm scared right now, y'all. I ain't even gonna lie. I'm scared. So I look out the window and I just see the sky, clouds, all that stuff. So I did everything. I remembered everything he told me to do. I put my hands on the airplane. I'm holding on for dear life. And Trey Free is over here like, hey, go, 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 go. And my hands are still like this. I'm like, no, I'm not going. So Trey Free takes his hand, he unpeels my hand, and both of my hands, and Tim Tennant just pushes us out. Y'all almost died. I'm not lying. So we good. I'm starting to feel okay. I see everybody else. They're doing their thing. They're doing tricks and stuff. And I'm doing everything he's telling me to do. Left arm, right arm, whatever arm it is. I got it. I remembered everything he said. So we're almost to the ground. I'm getting closer, closer. And then we land. A smooth landing, everything, right? So we're sitting on the ground. I'm sitting here. He's sitting behind me. And everybody else is like, picking up their chute, picking stuff up, and they're trying to get to where we are, right? And Tim, and I'm like happy. I'm like, yay, I'm alive. Thank God, right? And Tim is behind me. He's like, are you okay? And I said, yeah, why wouldn't I be okay? I'm fine. Like, what's going on? So everybody's coming over. He said, he looked worried. He looked like, something's wrong. And I said, what's wrong? He said, the parachute didn't open. He said, it didn't open. I said, what do you mean it didn't open? We're here, right? We're fine. He said, I had to use the reserve. Y'all, I almost died. The moral of the story is I am not courageous at all. At all. But you guys are. And I'm glad to be. I'm not supposed to be here, okay? I'm not supposed to be here, but I'm thankful that I did it. Would I ever do it again? Absolutely not. Send me to Florence McClure first. Send me commissary. I'm not doing that. I'll go to Florence McClure, okay? But that is the first time I had to be courageous. And that was the very last time I would do it. Okay. Thank you. So you're courageous. Thank you. All right. So second, you are disciplined. Every day you are deciding to do better. You're actively creating a better life for yourselves, your families, and the communities in which you live. Getting up every day, making conscious efforts to attain your personal goals require discipline, and I salute you for that. Let's talk about discipline. And this is just for the women, okay? Y'all men, be quiet. because nobody want to hear y'all right now. Discipline. How many people, women in here, have been trying to lose 10 pounds for the last 20 years? 10. At least 10 pounds. Y'all men can drive by the gym and lose 10 pounds, right? Me, I've been trying to lose 10 pounds for 20 years, okay? And it requires discipline. It requires getting up, eating right. They say 70% is eating right, right? My family back there, how often do we eat out and eat every what? We eat every day. Everybody, somebody over there is cooking something every single day. And we love food. We have no discipline, none whatsoever. And to get up here and come here every day and succeed in life after what you've been through requires discipline. And you have it. Something that I would probably never have. So thank you for that. Lastly, you are forgiven. Okay? And this is probably the most important one. You are forgiven. You have made some choices in life that I'm pretty sure you're not proud of. We all have. You have paid the price for those choices. You have learned from those choices and now building a better life for yourselves. The forgiveness comes from your families, your friends, and your community. And most importantly, from yourselves. You have to forgive yourself in order to move on. By making these strides to improve your life, you are simultaneously improving the community in which you live. Are there people out here who are judging your actions, criticizing your past, and hoping that you fail? Sure it is. But you have accomplished so much, learned a better way with the assistance of Hope for Prisoners, and dedicated your life to positive change. So much so that you do not have the time for the negative energy to address it. Continue moving forward in the right direction. We are cheering for you. You are forgiven. So I say that, and I say it's the most important one because it really is. One of the things that, as a parole board commissioner and as someone who also lives in this community, it is our responsibility to keep the community safe. We're responsible for your children, to keep your children safe. So the misconception that we always get, anyone in law enforcement, is we don't want you to do well. We want to keep you in prison. That is a misconception, and it's a myth. And I want you to use logic in this. If I live in your community, my granddaughter lives in your community, and I let you out, I want you to be safe. I want my family to be safe. So the misconception is just that. We all live in the same community. We all want the same things for our family. We all want to go have our children go outside and play with and be safe. That's what we all want. It just happens to be my job to make sure that my community is safe. But I want exactly what you want. Okay? In closing, I would like to say, your life will move in the direction of your strongest thoughts. I'm going to say that one more time. Your life will move in the direction of your strongest thoughts. Focus on the future, your family, building your community in which your children live, and remember your past, but do not dwell in it. It does not define you. It does not define you. It made you stronger. Remember, every situation, problem, and dilemma is figure-outable. No, it's not a word, but I made it up. Okay. Set realistic goals and achieve them. There is a solution to every situation you encounter. Continue to use your resources and build your toolbox to tackle anything that comes your way. Your community believes in you. We are extremely proud of your successes and your accomplishments. Thank you for allowing me to talk to you today and to positively influence you today. I wish you nothing but peace, happiness, and many blessings. Thank you.
Commissioner Bailey, please give her a big, gigantic round of applause. Please don't go too far because now it's time for some Q&A. What was that nugget or lug that Commissioner Bailey dropped into this room, and she dropped several of them standing in the back of the room, that you would like for her to expound on, something you just want her to talk about? Those in the room, I'm going to call on you. If you're in Nevada Department of Corrections, just make sure you slip your hand up and come on up. If you're watching Facebook Live, please drop that into the chat, and Chad is monitoring the chat, and also for those of you who are watching on Zoom. So we can open up right now. Anybody, we're going to make our way over here. Miss Brittany, if you'll stand up, you're going to be talking to her, but you're going to be looking over the camera right there. I want you to tell everybody your name and what is that question or comment that you might have for the awesome, amazing, wonderful, gifted, talented Commissioner Bailey.
My name is Brittany Patrick, and what I have to say is, I paroled from Florence McCurr in August of 2020, so I never got a chance to see you. However, I will say that I lost my parole 4 times, and every time I went to parole board, I always felt like the commissioners could never relate. So I appreciate the fact that you came in and gave us some insight of what's going on as you as a human, because the making it safe, I have a son now. I didn't have a son in 2020. So I'm able to put myself in the parole board's shoes and have understanding, because all those times I just felt like they don't want to let me out. Well, if you would have let me out in before 2020, I would not have been making anything safe for myself or anybody else. So I just want to say that I appreciate that. And also, I'm not racist either, but it's very, very, very good to see a Black woman on the parole board commissioners team.
Right.
Thank you.
Woo, give her a hand for that. Commissioner Bailey, I'll give you an opportunity to respond to that if you would like. I got cold chill just now.
So thank you very much. I appreciate that. So again, I used to work in the prisons too. I used to work at High Desert State Prison, and anyone in law enforcement is probably going to get a bad rap. It's just, it is what it is. You know, it is what it is. But a lot of times, what people don't understand is that those people have a job. We have a job to do. My sole job is to keep you safe, keep your children safe. That's my job. And sometimes when we make poor choices, we don't think clearly. You know, it can be anything. You know, we have people who, you know, fall to substance abuse. And I don't know, someone in here can speak. When you are an abuser of substance, are you always in your right mind? You're not. How do you know, young man? But you're not in your right mind. So therefore, we have to make choices for you. We have to make choices for the community. We have to make choices for the victims in most cases. So, and we are normally in our right minds, and it's just, it is what it is. And I tell people, we don't make enough money to sit around and wish that you stayed in prison. That doesn't happen. We don't want you there. We want you successful, so when you come out, my granddaughter is safe. It's very simple. So it's not anything personal. It's like when you're a kid and you have parents and they have to make decisions for you because you don't know better. You are not in the right state of mind to make important decisions. So we have to do that for you.
Okay, give her a hand for that, please. We're going to go over to Nevada Department of Corrections. Step up, tell us your name and what is that question or comment that you might have for Commissioner Bailey.
My name is Justin. I just saw you recently, maybe 6 months ago in Southern Desert, and so I got dumped my first parole, and then I got given abstention, and they rescinded the decision, right? And they wanted to see me, and I got dumped again, but you were the only one and another lady that granted me parole, right? And I want to say thank you, but even though I was mad at the time about not getting my parole, I appreciate you guys just not letting me out because I feel better in my head right now.
So good. Give him a hand for that, man. Remind us your name again. Tell us your name again. Say it again. It broke up.
Justin McSpirit.
Justin, thank you so very, very much for that. Can you give him a hand for that? My goodness, my goodness. If you want to respond, you certainly can respond, or we can go on to the next questions, comments. Chad gave me the cue that is somebody where? As somebody on Zoom. They wrote it. So you want to read it to Commissioner Bailey? He said nope. You know, somebody, Brian, thank you for that question. Commissioner Bailey, he says, what do you love the most about your job? Great question.
Is that my son, Brian?
I don't know. Is it?
Is his name Brian Freeman? Yeah.
Yes. He said, love you, Mom.
Yeah, as he was gonna bribe me earlier, so I was gonna ask the question, how much money do you have? That's what he texted me today. So what I love most about my job is that just like when I was in the military, the service. So anyone that's been in the Air Force or, that knows anything about the Air Force, we have core values. And the core values are integrity first, service before self, and excellence in all you do. Those are the things that they ingrain in you when you go into the military. So some people call it brainwash, some people call it structure. It is what it is. But the service part is what I love about the job. It gives me a sense of, even when I worked in the prison, I'll tell you one thing, and I hope my bosses are not listening, but when I worked in the prison, I never read your PSIs. Never. The only reason why I did not do that, I had to read them when I had to read them, okay? But I never sat there and read them. Only because I feel that you're a people too. You have people who come to the board and said, I'm just a number. No, you're not. I know your name. The number is just for administrative purposes, but everybody has a name. So I love the service part about the job. I feel like I make a little bit of a difference. That's what I love, Brian.
That is so good. Brian, thank you so much for that question. Questions and comments, Nevada Department of Corrections right here in this room. Any questions or comments that you might have for the awesome, amazing Commissioner Bailey? I'm rolling around the room like that old school Geraldo Rivera. Remember, he used to run around with the microphone? Please stand up, tell us your name, and what is that question and comment?
My name is Caseworker Anderson. I'm a caseworker at Southern Desert. Thank you, Ms. Bailey, for talking to these offenders. My question is, sometimes people do slip. What are some of the common reasons you see inmates returning back to prison, and what advice would you give the offenders that are in this room now?
Great question. Great question.
What would you like to be called? What would you? Hopefuls? Okay, got it. They're hopefuls. Okay. Okay. The one of the things. So Tuesdays, as you guys know, are violation days for us, and at least for the South. And it's the day that I feel that I make poor choices. I'm gonna be honest. It's the day that I feel like maybe I didn't make the right choice in letting that person out. That's just, I'm speaking for myself and not for the other commissioners. I'm speaking just for myself. That's the day, today is the day that I feel like I'm not doing a great job. Maybe I didn't see something. And the thing about it is, when I grant parole, I see something in you that you may not see in yourself. So that's why, you know, I love this job. That's why. And most of the things, caseworker Anderson, that I see on Tuesdays is the fact that some people have substance abuse problems. And I understand it. I don't, what is the word? Empathy? I have empathy because I understand. Okay? It's not easy to kick it. It's not. I love food so much. It's not easy to stop eating. I love food. Right, family? We love food. It's not easy to diet. So I can kind of relate. It's not the same thing, but I understand it. It's hard to kick it. It's hard, especially if you don't have the resources, if you don't have support, if your family's given up on you. It's hard to kick it. And that's one of the main things that we see when they come back. And then you have some people who just don't care. They don't care, I don't care. I tell them that all the time. You don't care, I don't care. You have to care about yourself before anybody else can care about you. So if they say that, then I'll tell them I don't care either.
That is so good. You know, one of the things that we recognize with people that are going back on parole violations, right? Although we have a tremendously high success rate of helping people not go back, we wanted to take a look at that small number of people that were recidivated, were doing parole violations. And what we found was it was people who, because we have this saying that your associations determine your destination. You show me who your friends are, I'll tell you exactly who you're going to be. So it was a small percentage of them that couldn't let go of those old associations. And the other ones that were going back was for substance abuse issues. This is why at Hope for Prisoners we have increased and looking to increase even more the substance misuse treatment while they're inside Southern Desert. You know, we have some fantastic things that are going to be happening because we know that we want to make sure that we get those things addressed before they hit the street. So we're excited about what's coming down the pipe. And thank you for that answer. If you'll stand up, big guy, I want to introduce you guys to my bodyguard. Look right over into that camera right there. Tell us your name and what is that question, comment you might have.
My name is Khalil, case manager here at Hope for Prisoners. Thank you for coming out today. I caught most of your story. It was awesome. So my question is I think it's going to be a tough one. So get ready. If you could change one thing about the criminal justice system, one thing, what would that be? And how would you go about starting to implement it?
Man, that's a great question. That is a great question.
Well, in a perfect world, right, what I would change is across the United States, the disparities from each state, from state to state. Because you have some states, and you get a little political and, you know, things like that. But you have some states are harder on some crimes than others. So I would, in a perfect world, if we could, I would make it to where everyone has the same standard. Every state, if you commit this crime, this is the punishment. In addition to that, the resources, the assistance, I would make sure there's a Hope for Prisoners in every daggone state. Or something similar, you know. You have to have the resources to help people. You have to have the resources to ensure that people thrive and are successful. The other thing that is important is a lot of people talk about the criminal justice system and how horrible it is, how it's not fair. And in some cases, it's not. Right? But just imagine, this is the other thing that we have to think about as parole board commissioners, victims. Okay? It's a tough job because we have to think about you. We have to think about the victim, the community, the families, ourselves. We have to think about everybody. So in that mix, someone's not going to be happy. Someone's not going to be happy. The reason that we have probation is for grace, to give you grace. Everybody makes mistakes. That's what happens in this country. We are really a forgiving country. We really are. So you have people who parole who do really, really horrible things. But we always believe in second chances. But let me ask you this. How many second chances do you need? How many do you need? 7? Okay. Some of you have had 7 second chances. Right? Some of you have had 7 second chances. And, you know, absolutely, the criminal justice system is not fair, right? But you have to also think about the crime. Imagine if it was your family. Imagine if you are a worker. Where's the young lady? This guy. You go outside to go to your new job and your car is gone. Exactly. Where's my car? Just imagine regular old people who go to work every day and they have to worry about certain things. It's not fair. And then you want us to give you 7 second chances? No, it's true, because we do. Because we are a forgiving country. We are. And we are a very forgiving board, too. So if there's a reason, there is a reason. If you are not granted parole, there is a reason. And I guarantee you, after you calm down, after you get that, what color is it in this case? It's yellow, right? After you get that yellow paper and you're mad at the world, you're mad at the parole board, oh, she gets on my nerves, she's so mean. It's because you was on your 7 second chance. That's why. So be mad at yourself. But at the same time, we understand.
That is so awesome. You know, I the first time I went to the parole board, I got dumped, but I deserved it. I deserved every single bit of it. So I do have a question I want to ask, because we were talking about the unfairness of the criminal justice system. Have you ever looked at a sentence structure and the crime and was like, oh my gosh, they gave you what?
Yes.
Yeah.
I see it every day.
Wow.
Every single day. And I don't know what be going on in court. I don't know what y'all be doing in there. I have no idea.
Right.
But some of these sentences are very disproportional from the crime.
Right.
Very.
Right. Well, awesome. We didn't come over here in the room. I'm gonna make my way back over here to the back row. If like we're going down here, if you guys move your backpacks, Geraldo Rivera's coming through. Stand up, look in the camera over there, tell us your name and what is that question or comment that you might have for Commissioner Bailey?
My name is Christopher Clay, and I came here to Hope, and Hope took a dope and made me a really advance back to the good part of life. So
we help you get your commercial driver's license?
Got me my commercial driver's license, and I just passed the board for cosmetology instructor.
Man, give it up for him.
And I'm finishing up on a book called All Fall Down. And the book is based on things that I've learned while I was in prison. And I learned working with some of the guys that I work at. Majority of them are from Hope. And it's just the stories that you hear and the survival that you hear, and to hear someone say, "There's no such thing as can," it's and. It's what you decide as your application in life. What you decide to turn that negative wheel into a positive wheel, and the structure. And I'm still going through things. I have a mother that's 107 years old. And I work every day for her. I've lost my wife to cancer while I was in prison. And I've had a lot of reasons to have excuses to fail, but every time I get ready to fall, something good lifts me up. And it revolves a lot around prayer and faith. And if you believe, you can achieve. So that's one of the main things. And starting over is hard for everybody. And no matter what you do, it's hard, but it's easier to try than to give up and fail. But I had a question for you.
I was hoping we were going to get to it.
Well, it kind of hurt me because of the fact is I had two wonderful parole agents. I mean, they worked hard for me. They were very initiating because I like to write, and I went to school for screenwriting in California, and I actually went for 25 individuals. I wrote scripts in prison for what they were going to say to the board, and 24 of them got out. And just teaching people foundation, And the thing here is that the two parole agents I had were wonderful. I mean, they were really supportive. My mother being elderly, she could walk no more. Very expensive. She came out of hospice twice where they said she was going to die. And prayer and God being as good as he is. But now I got another parole agent. And the stifling thing about it is they take on things all different. I wish there was, you say regularity in one thing, I wish there was more of a regularity in that. Because if you've done everything that you're supposed to do, if you've, accomplished, I've never missed a day off of work. And I've gotten every award at my job that Jon Ponder got me. And I show them the appreciation for them giving me that job. I never worked in a regular job. I've been a hairdresser for 40 years. I worked for CBS. I worked for television. My son still works for television now. And the thing of it is starting at this point, the only thing I wish is that you can get consistency in parole and probation. That's my main thing, is that everybody wishes that we can get people to feel what you're trying to illustrate with your words, saying that you're trying, saying don't put me in the same category. And I'm trying to find out what can we do about that. I was awarded no restitution, no fines, no anything, and I'm paying restitution, and I don't know why. So it's kind of, that's my question to you.
Before you answer that, I got to sit down for a minute. Man, you just exhausted me, man.
So let me get this straight. You're asking, why is there any inconsistencies with the parole officers?
Well, at my job, everybody has the same complaint. They get a good one. They go gung-ho behind you. They help you supportively. They watch their words, because words have a lot of power. And the constructiveness in you get a good one that's very constructive, that keeps you motivated. Okay, recidivism, nobody, I mean that I've met, once recidivism, they got families, they're really getting going. And then you get those couple that are really gung-ho behind you, and then you get this one that does things that you don't want to be combative. You don't want to say, let me speak to the supervisor. You don't want to do those things. You shouldn't have to. And if you've been consistent on everything, I mean, you try to accomplish, I think I rung the bell here a couple of times. And that's wake up. Each time I rung it, it was a wake up call. And I bug jumped a million times, you know what I mean? And I've been have so much concrete support. So that's what I'm saying. The consistency, being consistent with people. Everybody's not the same.
Well, you're right. It's not consistent. You know why? Because you're dealing with different people. I tell people all the time, I've been in HR for 20 some years when I was in the military. It's not the job. My granddaughter's right there. She too. I could probably teach her how to do the job. It's the people. It's not the job. And imagine having to deal with an officer, a parole or probation officer, having to deal with a caseload of 300 people for one person. Imagine that. Can you do that? That's hard. And how much money does that person make? Probably about $45,000 a year. Nothing. So you have to understand that there are people too. They have families. It's not just you that's on their caseload. It's 299 other people that they have to worry about. So my advice to you, and NDOC, y'all need to listen up. When you are granted parole, read your parole agreement. Read it. Read it every single day. Read what you shouldn't do and what you should do. You should have it memorized. It is not that officer's responsibility to chase you around. You're the parolee. Read it. Don't do the bare minimum. Let me tell y'all something. If I was a parolee, my officer, I'd be calling him every day. What you doing, Officer so-and-so? What you got going on today? Let me tell you what I'm doing today. I would be their friend. I will let them know everything that I'm doing. I call them and say, good night. I'm in the bed. I made my curfew. Look and see what time it is. You have to be proactive. It's your parole. You're the one. Don't have him chasing you. It doesn't work that way. They don't get paid enough. They don't have enough hours in the day. And if you're doing the right thing, and if you listen up, NDOC, if you're doing the right thing, they're going to forget about you. They're going to let you do what you do because they trust you. Yes, it is. They're going to let you do what you do. And if you don't agree, try it. Read that parole agreement and do everything on that parole agreement and watch how well you succeed. I guarantee you, if you don't, come see me.
Give her a hand for that. That was really, really good. Commissioner Bailey, one of the things that I share with people from my own personal story that relates to what it was he just said, and I've been coming in and out of the system like since forever, right? And I would go to prison, and I wind up doing whole time every time I went to the penitentiary. There's been times I did 18 months in the hole, and I get out and go right back, right? But on my last prison sentence in the maximum security United States federal penitentiary, right? It didn't even dawn on me until I was on my way out that I didn't catch one shot and I hadn't gone to the hole. And that's when I realized that all those other times I was bringing that garbage to me. Does that make sense? I was bringing it all to me because I made the switch up in here, right? I didn't go to the hole one time. And then when I came home and I'm on U.S. probation, so it's the equivalent in the feds, you got a U.S. probation. This dude was my best friend. I did exactly what it was that you said. But it was because I was on this whole nother level, right? There was a change that had taken place on the inside of me, right? That, I wasn't giving people no action at nothing. And my parole officer, he wasn't the nicest guy in the world till when I first came home, banging on my mom's door at 5:30 in the morning, because that's where I had to parole to. I had to parole to my mom's house because I didn't have a place else to go because I burnt everybody. Right? But the dude used to knock on my mom's door at 5:30 in the morning, come in the house, make me, drop a UA. And there was even times where he dropped the UA and I had to go do job search. I had to ride the bus. So I get on the bus at like Fort Apache and DI, and I would ride it down to Decatur because I was going to switch buses, and he'd pull up behind the bus and make me UA again. But listen, you know what it was? It didn't bother me, man. Listen, I know that you have to do your job because I know who I was before I went to the penitentiary. You got every right to drop a UA and flip my house up and all that stuff because I was that dude. But because I had changed my life gradually and incrementally over time, this guy became my friend. And that's when I realized that it was never the parole officer. It was never what was happening inside the institutions. It was what was going on the inside of me that made all the difference. We're going to make our way back here to Chaplain Finley. You better be careful because he might start preaching up here and everything.
No, I saw a certain gentleman who's either going to or has studied at Harvard. Someone I should congratulate on that.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you.
Right. Leadership, right?
Yes.
Leadership in nonprofit management.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
And thank you, John, and thank you, Commissioner Bailey. Yes, my questions and comments are just follow-up to what you all seem to have covered so thoroughly already. My first question, two questions. My first question was, after 21 years in the Air Force, what guided your decision to get into criminal justice? And then moving forward a little bit, from your talk, I gather that you only get into so much of the information about a person's past and so forth when you come to a decision. But at the same time, you weigh out all of the factors of how that person is going to affect the community and so forth. So, and the gentleman here spoke about how he wrote the summary or comments that the person going before the parole board would say before you. Do you make my question is, how much of your decision, do you make your decision beforehand, or how much of your decision is decided before that person actually gets before you? And what do you look for in that individual? Because folks at Casa Grande and so forth, it's something for them to think about, in order for them to prepare themselves, be ready to succeed when they go before the parole board.
Great question.
I think that was two questions. What made me get into this field? So before I went into the military, when you're a kid, you have dreams of doing things, right? So I wanted to always be a correction officer. That's it. That's all I ever wanted to be when I was younger, a correction officer. And the reason that is because my aunt who was here, she was a correction officer, had an uncle who was a correction officer. And let me just tell you, I grew up in Queens, New York. Okay, so it wasn't the best neighborhood, but it was my neighborhood. And I saw my aunts and uncles working at Rikers Island. So I loved that. So I was like, and I was always intrigued by crime. How many of us ladies watch crime all day at home? Just me? Oh, okay. Just me. But I've always been intrigued by it and why people do what they do. So I always wanted to be a correction officer. And I went into the Air Force because the recruiter told me, oh, you can do that when you get in the Air Force. No, that's not how it works. So I went in as a security forces person. And from there, I tried to, because they do have correction officers in the military, but it's very hard to get into. So I tried to get in and it didn't work. And that's what I went in for. So I retrained and went another direction. So that's why when I retired, I decided to come in this field. What was your other question? I'm sorry.
How much of your decision, is decided before that person gets before you? What do you look for when that person is actually standing before you?
So listen up, NDOC. So the decision is not made contrary to what you think, it's not made until after your hearing. Absolutely. So we can look at a file and say, nope, this person's not ready, but let's hear what he has to say. Don't come to the board and you have 17 write-ups in a month. Yes. Because what does that mean? Caseworker Anderson, what does that mean?
That means they don't care, and if they haven't changed their behavior while they're in custody, it's highly unlikely that they'll be able to change it.
Why would I want you to come out giving your officer a problem when you give the officers, oh, by the way, the COs in the prison, they don't make that much either. And they got to deal with you in there. And then you want me to let you come out and give the officers a hard time? No. So what would make me say yes is if, and we understand this. We know that people come to the board and you may not speak well. You may be nervous. We understand those things. You may not articulate what it is that you want to do or what dreams you have, or we understand that. But the paper never lies. It never lies. It's the truth. So we look at that and we listen to what you have to say, what your plans are, and we can just tell. You just know. Some days when we get off and we be like, you know what? Let him out today. I mean, that can't happen. But some people, they don't deserve to be in prison. It's just that simple.
Right.
And some do.
Yeah. So we're going to come to a close right now. But what I think I hear you saying, and I'm going to look at the people of Casa Grande, is that you look for good institutional behavior, correct? Right or free, good institutional behavior. Look at the level of programming, right? You take in consideration, for family support, and then support of organizations like Hope for Prisoners. Am I correct? All right. Can we give Commissioner Bailey a big, gigantic round of applause? Thank you so very, very much for joining us. And I'm going to invite you guys up so we can take this group photo. But before we do that, I want to say good night and thank you so much for joining us. Our friends over at the Nevada Department of Corrections. Can we give them a gigantic round of applause? Our friends over in the Clark County Detention Center, we're looking so very forward to working with you and having you here at a Tuesday night huddle up. Can we give them a big, gigantic round of applause? And the City of Las Vegas Detention Center, and those of you who are watching from around the world, the Hope for Prisoners Facebook Live